All right, so we come in early actually so that we could notify a lot of people so that we can get started. So today's conversation is actually amazing, and two amazing people who have internet is doing great things. I would really say because without internet, I don't think this is possible. So today we'll be having conversation about Outreachy, and the idea actually is to number one, let a lot of people know about this program exists. I love the fact that Outreachy is diversified because if you look at the technology landscape currently, there are a lot of there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of diversity. And Outreach is doing that really to be able to make sure that they bring more people on board, no matter where you are, and especially women also in technology. So that's why I really love what Outreach is doing. And as a community, and because we have a very, very diverse community, we have people from all across the world, and also a lot of people who are just like beginners. They are self-taught. Some people are in boot camps and just like looking for their first opportunity to contribute to open source or to actually build something with other people. And I believe that Outreach provide that opportunity to do that. Aside from that, it's paid also, which is really amazing. So it's like doing what you love, and then you get some stipend at the end of the month to be able to do that. So thank you everyone from everywhere you're joining us. So we've seen that a lot of people are already joining in, and it's going to be an amazing conversation today. So it's 7:30 already. So I'll be bringing up my guest, and we have quick introductions around. And after the introductions, then we are going to go into what Outreachy is actually is. And my guests are going to give us from their own experience because the essence actually is to be able to hear from people who have been on this program. I also have been on some amazing programs that have helped me and changed my life. I was part of the Django community and Python community in Nigeria, and also one of the early founder of Python Nigeria. So, and also community mentor for Django girls. And this opportunity, I would say, actually, are some of the things that bootstrap my career as a software engineer. So I got my first international opportunity, fully sponsored and paid for, with Django Con to Florence, Italy. So imagine without that contribution uh, to open source or to the Django community, I might not have that opportunity. So without further ado, let's bring in the amazing people that is going to be helping us to get this. So welcome Phoebe from Lagos, Nigeria, and also welcome Anita from Abia State. Yeah, so first of all, we're going to have a round of introduction. So, should I start with myself? Or what? I don't know. I'm not a professional broadcaster, so but I think like everyone that is here already know me, so it's not my shine. Please let Anita and Phoebe shine here today because yeah, they are our guests. So let's start from Anita. Go introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Anita Chiwendo Opara and I am an outreach intern at Non-Focus. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, Phoebe.
Hi, my name is Phoebe Temenu. I've been an Outreachy intern and an Outreachy mentor and an open source community maintainer. And I'm, glad to be here to speak to all of you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you for that. Those introductions are just like so short, and you guys have like so many like credentials. I don't know why you make it so short. Every time I have an opportunity to introduce myself, I spend like 10 minutes. So, but thank you very much for doing that. It's really great. So Phoebe is amazing. She's a mentor also. We've had some background conversation, which I think is great. So I'm also very passionate about mentoring. So I think you're going to give us some of those yeah, insight. And I know there are a lot of people here, especially like women in tech is something that I really support. So when we have like a lot of women in technology, you can have people that look like you that can actually go through things similar to you, and then when you get mentored by them, so it's much connect the connection. It's different, which I think is really great. So there will be a lot of people that will be reaching out for mentoring opportunities and stuff like that. So moving on, let's get started from Phoebe this time. What is Outreachy itself? Can you just give us the idea, the concept of the program?
All right. Outreachy is a 3 month internship that runs twice a year, that allows people to contribute to open source and open science projects. It is a paid internship and it is available to everyone in the world. It is a great way to start a career if you have software engineering, design, or technical writing previous experience. It's a great way to also like start a career if you've been learning and you want an opportunity to work with a team. And a great thing about contributing to open source is that the work that you do is available on the internet. Is easy, like anybody can go and see it. It's like a portfolio of sorts.
Yeah.
For certain like paid projects, you can't share exactly what you wrote, like in the code base. Some projects you sign a non-disclosure agreement, you can't like take out a chunk of the code and say, hey, this is what I did. But for open source projects, you can, and you get to interact with amazing people. Another great thing about the Outreachy internship is the connections.
Mhm.
Um, the people who mentor you, the people who are in the community with you, maintainers, contributors, they are available to answer your questions. And also like they are always willing to help. So another great thing, aside from just a paid internship, is the contacts, the connections that you get from such an opportunity. So I believe that the Outreachy internship is a really, really, really great opportunity, and you should, if you want to, register and apply.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think you nailed like a lot of things in the board, and I would like to quickly recap some of those things so that a lot of people can pick it up. Because one of the things I told people about is having this social credit, and platform like this actually give you that opportunity to be able to have that social credits and that kind of connection that can actually help you to build the kind of network that you need in the tech community. And also in terms of like having receipts, right? We call it receipts. Like the receipt is like it's there in the open, like everyone
Yes.
can see that, okay, this is the contribution, is what you have done. And also I think one of the things I love about this like global remote platform where you're going to meet amazing people from all over the world, and there's nothing that is a confidence booster than that, because when you see that, okay, you're working with people from all over the world, like, wow, we are all human beings. Like one of the things that
Yeah,
happen in tech is people are really intimidated, like you're like, oh my god, how can I
yeah,
do all of this that people are doing? But when you're in the midst of people who are actually doing stuff, and then you now realize that, okay, that means it's not, I can do it also if this person can do it. Yeah. So for Anita, so what actually
yeah.
made you apply for Outreachy? How did you come about the program and when you applied?
Well, I was introduced into Outreachy, or I was introduced to Outreachy by a friend, Caveman, God's will. And he was like, yo, you love writing, right? Probably you should check out Outreachy and the projects, this cohort, and see if there is something that might pique your interest. I was like, okay. And yeah, when I went there, I um up here foundation caught my eye. So that was what
Okay.
made me say, even though I wasn't selected, I'm going to apply again. So yeah.
All right.
I love
That's
the fact that you don't have to know how to code to be able to contribute to the outreach space or to be an outreach intern. That was what really encouraged me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's other thing that a lot of people will be asking about. Someone was
Yeah.
asking if it's a remote internship. Definitely. I think we've
Yes.
already mentioned that Ejike.
Yeah.
It's a fully remote internship globally. So wherever you are,
Mhm.
there's no discrimination. It doesn't matter where you are around the world. So and that's why the opportunity is really, really, really great. So yeah, so let's move forward a little bit. And that is one
Yeah.
of the things like I want to talk about. A lot of people think that technology, if you are in tech, you have to be a software engineer, you have to be a programmer. And a lot of people, because of that, miss out on a lot of other opportunities that are in that space. So let's look at Outreachy. What kind of people are they looking at? Phoebe, can you start? So
All
what kind
right.
of people? Yeah,
I just want to say, like, first of all, if you do want to write code, you should go ahead and learn, like, and stay on that path if that's what you want to do. But that's not the only um, opportunities that there are in the tech space. With that being said, a majority of the projects are code based. Um, another subsection of the projects are technical writing based. That's user documentation, project
Yeah.
documentation, API documentation. Another section of the project is design and community management. So basically, user experience design, user interface design, and community coordination and community management. But the truth is that the vast majority of the projects are programming based.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really great. So because like there's still something for everyone, right? So I know like a
Yes,
lot of people in the community are software engineers, project manager. What about like project managers also? Are they some kind of UI
I
designer?
guess for community management roles, a project manager can apply for that because basically for open source projects, they have a roadmap. It's basically like a living project, and if you're going to manage the community. There's a lot that goes into it. So project management does apply a bit to community management. User experience, user interface design
Yeah.
is a subsection of product design that there's certain projects who they want to revamp their UI or redo their UI. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think the important thing is that there is some way that your skills will be needed. And also for me, I think like if you're an intern, don't be picky at beginner. So when I started in tech, I was doing everything. Like I'm not selective. Like I won't select like whatever you give to me, I'm going to do it. Design, engineering, repairs, hardware, networking, like 3D, videos editing. Like if I'm in a company, I'm like, what's the job? That's my question. Like, what are we doing today? So it's not like I'm an expert of this because the idea is it's just my opinion, but I think it's work because when you're starting out, don't lock yourself up in one space, even though you have a vision of what you want to be, because that gives you the opportunity to be able to learn and to be able to contribute from day one, which I
I
think is
agree. I
yeah,
agree because I I did like I had to get into front end engineering to realize I didn't like front end engineering and I
yeah,
would rather do back end engineering. But if I didn't
try,
write
you
front
know,
end, yes, code, I
yeah,
wouldn't know that yeah, this is not for me. But also I'm known to write really great documentation. And it was
yeah,
because I got into writing documentation that I found that I'm good at this too. So yes, try a ton of things.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Bara asked if how can the applicant increases our chances of getting accepted, and that's where we are going to right now. So,
Yeah.
I know Phoebe have already have an outline of sections for us on how you want to break this
Yeah.
down. So, we're going to give you those time to do that, and then Anita is going to corroborate some of your points for us. So, let's
Okay.
talk about the application process. I'm new to Outreachy. What is the process like?
All right. There are three application tiers. Let's call it tiers. There's an
Yeah.
initial registration and essay application. There is a contribution phase where you contribute to. You can take a pick of the communities and the projects that are available, and decide which communities or which projects you want to contribute to. And after you've done that, then you submit a final application to the community that you've contributed to, that you want to do your internship with. So it's a three-tier phase. The initial application is an essay. This is a little hard for some people because the I feel like the vast majority of people don't do a lot of like writing outside of, you know, school or um, work. Like if you're not in a work where you, if you're not in a job where you constantly write reports, uh,
Mhm.
essay writing seems to be something that is a bit daunting for certain people. And I think one of the hardest things to write about is to write about yourself. And so people struggle, and you have to, there's the thing where you have to answer questions about yourself, about your technological ecosystem in the country that you live in. And the goal of this is that the organizers want to understand who you are, you know, what you stand for, what kind of person you are, what, roadblocks you've experienced in getting towards your goal of a job in technology, or towards your goal for, being a tech professional. And you have to, write about that. It's a semi-lengthy essay, um, and they ask you about, like, um, the areas in your life where you've been, I'm trying to find the word. Can you help me out? um
Where you felt underrepresented.
yes, where you felt underrepresented. um so, and if you are like, if you're very Nigerian, it's very hard to write about, like, you think, well, I'm not like, I mean, there's a bit of suffering, but it's not like, I'm from like a war-torn country or all those kind of things. So people find it hard to speak about their personal experiences in a way that they're able to show like their story, and show how they've been underrepresented, and show how, they've been
Mhm.
setting roadblocks. So that's the first, like, that's the first, that initial essay is the first thing where people say, oh my god, this is hard, and I don't want to, like, I'm so tired and I can't meet up with the deadline and I don't know what to write.
Mhm.
But I encourage people to just tell a story about like your tech journey. The things that you think that are not roadblocks are actually roadblocks. For example, not having um, access to electricity all the time is something that I wrote about. To me, it's just a Nigerian thing,
Yeah,
but it is a roadblock,
it's true.
you know,
That's true.
because if you have a project, if you're working remotely, you're working in a team of people who, in certain countries, they don't experience power outages. And so, like, if you have a power outage for like 4 hours, and you're unable to work for that period of time, you really can't compare your professional output to the professional output of someone who doesn't have that issue.
Yeah.
So, you can talk about that. You can talk about your experiences. That is what they want to know. Once
Oh,
you answer the questions and you, like, write the essay and you submit, that is the first phase of your initial application. If you have questions about the initial applications, you can put them in the chat, and um, I will answer that.
okay. Yeah. So,
um,
I think, yeah, we could have Anita talked about a little bit of your experience in the initial applications. Uh,
Okay.
so, and also I saw this general eligibility, like step 1 of 14. What is this part? What does it do?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, this
yeah,
part on the
okay.
screen about the general eligibility, I think it's some kind of like uh
Yeah, there are certain you have to be above 18 to be eligible. You
okay,
have to also be, you can't be in a current ongoing school year for you
okay,
to be eligible. So you need to prove that your school breaks, match up with the, for the specific, either the May to August or the December to, I think February one. So there are also other questions. There are basic questions that you just pick yes or no.
okay. All right. So that those doesn't really have like they are not scoring, you're just checking that okay, you are eligible
No, it's not. The
to
initial application is not a they're not trying to judge. It's not a They're not judging anything. They just
okay,
want to know more about like you.
okay,
And I like, a tip is that you should please try not to use AI for your personal essay.
Okay.
it is incredibly important because your the the language model doesn't know your story like you know your story. It can't
True.
really like tell your story like you would tell your story, and they're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
judging your English or like you know your writing. They just want to
Yeah.
know about your situation.
Yeah.
So research about the tech ecosystem in your country so you can speak about the tech ecosystem in your country.
Yeah.
Research what have a bit of numbers, have like a couple of things that you've researched about, back it up by numbers. This is the amount of time you have electricity every day. This is how much like it can affect your productivity. This is a reason why, like, this is a roadblock that I face in my journey to be a professional.
Yeah.
All right, Anita, you could go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said. In addition to that, I think one thing that can help strengthen your application essay is adding examples. Like she said, like Phoebe said, is like storytelling. Imagine you're having a conversation with a friend and you're trying to make a case for yourself. Imagine you're having a conversation with a family member or gisting, like what we call it in Nigeria here. Imagine you're gisting with them. How would you present this to them? That's why you should avoid AI using ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will be giving you big grammar that won't really make your story in a way believable. Because I've seen essays that were written with ChatGPT. So, in addition to everything, please add examples. That is, if you've ever felt underrepresented in any way, make sure you add examples to whatever you're saying. I think that will help strengthen your application essay.
All right, there's a
Yeah.
question that says, I hope a roadblock like electricity won't come off, like the applicants won't be able to meet deadlines and so on. The initial
No.
essay, it doesn't get read by the community members. It's read by the Outreachy organizers. So the community member, like the projects that you are contributing to, don't have access to your initial essay. So technically, they won't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in
I mean,
addition,
and this should be like a reason for you to put extra effort. For people living in Nigeria, we all know how we deal with electricity issues. So if you're
yeah,
going to, if you know that this is a certain time when you have electricity, try to do more work than normal. So that way, that's when you get to the contribution phase. That way, you won't be found lagging. So yeah.
yeah, I'll also add like sometimes when they ask about your circumstances, they're not using it to penalize you. It's because they
Mm-hmm.
want to help. You understand? So a lot of people that are listening don't feel like, for me, like I know sometimes it's crazy. Like when you want to like be vulnerable to tell your story. For you to tell your story, you need to be vulnerable. I share a lot of my stories. Like for instance, I wrote a blog some years back about how I got my first job in the UK as an immigrant when I came to this country and how hard it was. You understand? So it can be very that's kind of like experience that you're like, wow, Peter, like a big boy that I am, I should not be sharing that kind of a thing, you know. But in a way, there are ways that uh, it helps other people, and also it helps other people to be able to help you too. So if you're applying for this program like Outreachy, they are not there to like, oh, because you don't have electricity, no, they want to help you. That's why they're even giving you that stipend so that you can use that stipend. Even we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on, actually. But I want you to guys to talk about the essay questions itself. So, what are the core questions that they are asking about so that people can just I know some people have not because even for me I have to like I've not been able to do all of the disability stuff to get to the essays, so I didn't get the question. So if you have an idea of what those questions are, if you just like give some examples, I think that will help some people.
All right, give me a second. I'm trying to go through my own like application so that I could walk through the questions.
Okay. So someone is asking the issue of internet's unreliability. So it's the same thing, internet that we just say. So it's the same thing. So if you have internet unreliability, that's not about it. the idea is they want to give you opportunity to contribute. And this internship is 3 months. They're not saying that every day you have to code, you have to do everything every day. It's a time. Like you can measure in terms of week. Like in a week, how many hours are you able to put in to do something? So you won't say that your internet is not reliable for 1 week. You understand? So there will always be time in a week or somewhere you can go to, and also making some extra plans. I also live in Nigeria when I know that, yeah, or in some places the internet were bad, but I just have to like consider those factors into how I plan things I need to do and my deliverables. Okay, I think somebody is giving us some of the essay here, which I think
Um, One of the essay questions is: are you part of an unrepresented group in the technology industry of your country? How are you underrepresented? So you have to share how you are underrepresented in your country. That's one of
okay.
the essay questions.
All right. So let's look at Ikechukwu question here. Part of the essay
All right.
asks the systemic bias one has faced while acquiring the test skills or opportunities. As a Nigerian who might not be in Nigeria at the contribution stages, is it wrong to state the systemic bias I face while in Nigeria, or is it strictly for the country you will be in?
In my
They ask
opinion,
you.
okay,
Okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Anita.
No, go ahead.
Okay, they ask you. One of the questions they ask you is where you would be, like through the period of the internship. So it's important to answer that honestly. But
Yeah,
in this situation, it just basically like is talking about the systemic biases that you face, excuse me, while you were acquiring the tech skills. If you acquire the tech skills in Nigeria, you can talk about the systemic biases that you face acquiring the tech skills in Nigeria while you were acquiring the tech skills. It's not
yeah,
a cut and dry rule that you must talk about the biases you faced in the country you will be in, or the country you were in before. It's just what biases have you faced in your
yeah,
journey to acquiring tech skills or tech opportunities.
All right.
yeah.
I think that's really great. We've answered some good questions, so I want us to move a little bit further because of our time. Yeah. So to the second stage, after the essay, what next?
After the essay, you wait for the essay to be reviewed, and then
Okay.
you get an email that you've moved on to the next stage. Unfortunately, not all of the essays, not everybody who registered and submitted an essay will move on to the contribution phase, but
Yeah,
most people will. So after you get your email, congratulating you on moving to the contribution phase, you have access to all of the projects that are currently that will currently be worked on in that outreachy internship phase.
Okay.
So it would list the stack. Um, that is the. It will also list the skill level that it requires. So it's like if a project requires Node.js, PHP, Vue.js, it would tell
yeah,
you, okay, these are the skills required for this particular project. If you
Yeah.
want to contribute to this project, these are the skills that you should have. If it's a technical writing skill, if technical writing project or documentation project, they'll tell you, you should know how to use Markdown, the Git process, that sort of thing. So you will see a list of every single project. Some communities have more than one project.
yeah,
Some communities have three, four projects.
Yeah.
Some communities only have one. So you would be able to go through this list and choose which project aligns with your specific skills and which project speaks to you.
yeah,
There would be, if you there would be multiple projects that maybe you have the skills for, but there are projects that you would like to contribute to, or like maybe communities that you sort of like know about, that you were like, yeah, I'd love to contribute here. So you can do that in that process.
All right. That's really
And
great.
then, okay.
So during the waiting process, sorry, I cut you short.
Yeah.
what will you be doing? You just need to wait until.
Yes, until you that's until you get the email that lets you know that you've moved on to the contribution phase.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think like waiting stage also is an opportunity for you to be like continue to sharpen your skills. So
Yes.
look at some of the past projects they've done, some of the skills required, and some people have asked, data science available? Are this available? Like every community have different kind of
Open
project.
science, yeah, open science projects usually have more data based projects
Yeah,
because of like research,
yeah,
those kind of projects. So yes, like data engineering, testing, um,
yeah.
cloud, cloud engineering. They just list the skills that you need to have.
To get a job. Yeah, so because someone have asked about QA and stuff like that, definitely all of these things are there. Quality assurance, documentation writing, core software engineering, front end, back end. So all of those skills should be there. So yeah, Joseph, you're asking about the deadline for applying for this intern. So the deadline actually is I saw is due on August 22nd for initial applications. So in August 22nd. So what I would think is that just start applying now. So just start. Don't wait. After all of these tips you've had,
Yeah,
just start. And also, I will say that I will employ Anita and Phoebe to
maybe.
help as many people that will just like reach out to you, but don't spam their email, please, or
No
their
problem.
DMs. So just be nice and ask nicely. So, like, if you have your essay or something, just like, can you just give me an advice? What I wrote, something like that, Yeah. So, yeah, we rise by lifting others, right? So that's
Yeah,
the essence.
we do.
So yeah, so that's it. So after that stage that you now get the yes, you've been selected for contributions stage. So
Phase.
what is the next
Yeah.
phase? What's the next phase then? Anita, right?
Okay. So in the contribution phase, once you get your email, your congratulatory email, you'll be expected to reach out to your mentor or mentors if you have more than one mentor. So some people take their time. They don't look out for their mails or check their spam folder or whatever. And you see them joining the group chat, the GitHub channel, or the Slack channel a week and a half after the contribution phase have already started. So I would really implore us, once you are waiting for your congratulatory message or email and you get the notification via the Outreachy LinkedIn page or Twitter page that they've sent out congratulatory messages, please check your emails, especially your spam folders or promotion folders if something is there. So you don't make the mistake of joining later when other people are already done with their first assignment. They are joining already. So during the contribution phase, like I said, you're meant to reach out to your mentor, introduce yourself. That's you're encouraged to introduce yourself and kind of a brief introduction of who you are and tell them that you're excited to contribute to the project and all that. And then I don't know, for different projects, some people have the GitHub channel as their primary communication channel. Some people have Slack as their primary communications channel. So whichever communication channel they use, you'll be introduced or added into the communication channel, and then you start contributing. So that's what happens, I think, during the first 3 days of the contribution phase. Do you want me to go on or
Yeah. So I thank you very much,
okay?
Anita. That was really
Yeah,
succinct.
thank you.
Phoebe, can you help us answer this question? If applicants move to the contribution phase, does it mean that you've got accepted?
Not yet. So
Not
is
yet.
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
step process, but it means that like you just have um 2 steps left
Yeah,
before you get to the final stage. One of
yeah,
the contribution phase is the time where you get to like you get to do like the dirty work, like you get to build the project
yeah.
locally, you get to get your hands on the code base or on the documentation or on what exactly the project is going to be about. This is where you inform your final proposal from. And a lot of
Yeah.
times it's also helpful for you because sometimes you go into a project thinking, oh, like, sure, I can do this. And then like after a while you realize that, yeah, this is not really like for me. And you can move
Mm-hmm.
on to another project
Project.
and
Oh,
contribute
Yeah.
to that project. Open source and open science project encourages you to get your hands dirty, get into the
Yeah.
code base, like look at the issue queues, read the documentation. I encourage you
Yeah.
to read the documentation, ask questions in the channel, like
Mm-hmm.
ask your mentor questions, like look at like issues that you can fix, like this is the time, like for you to put all this, like the skills that you've learned, like to use, like look at something, like maybe an issue, say, okay, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to try to fix this, even though you don't know how to fix this. Google is your best friend.
yeah,
If you see an
Yeah.
issue, you're like, how can I fix this? Ask, like ask a question, like ask the mentors. They would, like initially, like give you an idea or point you to, like the part of the code base where the issue might be, where like the particular issue is, where you can fix
Yeah.
it and contribute. Like the whole point of the contribution phase is
you
for
need to
you to
contribute.
contribute
Yeah,
Contribute.
to the
Yeah.
project. um
Mm-hmm.
Once you contribute, a contribution is either like a PR getting merged, or like a part of the documentation being updated, or like maybe a for people who are creating for user experience designers, maybe um a design being accepted. So
Yeah.
that basically what covers the contribution phase, and it is for
Mm-hmm.
1 month. It is a period of 1 month from the time that you got accepted. At the end of the contribution phase, you submit your final proposal. Your final proposal is basically, this is the project. Let's say the project is to build a new dashboard, revamp the dashboard UI, right? Your final proposal is you saying, okay, this is how I'm going to revamp the dashboard UI in the specific time that this internship is going to run.
okay,
Like you're going to break down your tasks into uh, smaller phases, and those smaller phases is then broken down into maybe like 2 week or 1 week
13
sprint.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 13-week journey, but like you can break it down either
Yeah.
into like, this is the deliverable at the end of the 2 weeks, this is deliverable at the end of the month, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what your
Yeah.
final proposal is going to be about. But you won't be able to like speak to your final proposal if you don't even know how the project
to
works.
contribute. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
contribute to the project, fix
So
issues,
this is
update the
Yeah.
really,
documentation.
this is really, really great. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Phoebe, because like it's all rounded. And this is what we think that tell a lot of people. Like technical skill is not just about your technical skills, and that's why like Collins is asking, what about Java developer? Like we've talked about this before. It doesn't matter the stack you are using or the
Yeah.
programming language you are using. For instance, if you are on the contributing stage and you look at all of the projects and there is no Java, like if there's something else you can do as a tech
Yeah.
skills, why not
Yeah.
do it? Like you don't have to wait until, yeah, I mean, I'm just Java developer, I'm just a JavaScript guy, I'm just
Yeah.
like, we
Don't put
should be,
yourself in
yeah,
one
in
box.
that
Yeah.
box that will not allow you to try new things. And that's why, like
Things. Yeah.
I said, I'll call myself a software engineer rather than a JavaScript developer or like a Java
Mm-hmm.
developer. Like I just feel like
Yeah.
it just like puts me in a box that I have to, if
Yeah.
I, for instance, if my company said we need to build a service and it needs to use Java, I'll spend the nights or weekends learn Java. Is it not the programming, the syntax, and then I can apply it
Yeah.
to the problem I want to solve. Because what we do basically is there's a problem and we need to solve it. So I think we should have that mindset as an
Yeah.
intern if you're a beginner
Yeah.
or anything, because it will go a long way to help you in your career.
Yeah.
So if your stack is not available, look, check other opportunities there. That will be something definitely that
Yeah.
you can do. That will be
Yeah.
something that you can do. So I want us to move on to, I know Phoebe, you've answered like a lot of the questions. Also, the
Yeah.
contribution phase, we know that it's 1 month, and also another thing I want to inject there is that what was the line I was saying about it's not just about your skills. You have to be able to
Yeah.
communicate. You have to be able to plan. You have to be able to
Yeah.
speak to
Yes,
none of those things.
Interact.
yes,
Interact.
interacting with things that they are
Yeah.
looking for. That proposal
Yeah.
is you communicating your idea, you
Yeah.
planning the task. For the
Yeah.
next 3 months, they're going to pay
Yeah.
you 7K, right? What are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time? How are you going to break
Yeah.
down those tasks? All of these
Yeah.
things that are very, very, very important in the real world. Yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes people just wait, like, give me the stuff. Sometimes just like give you
Yeah.
something ambiguous, just be able to find a way to refine that problem and then break it
Yeah.
down and be able to sell
Yeah.
it to your team members, and then you
Yeah.
can be able to. I think this is a very important skill to learn.
It
I'm
is.
happy that the internship is doing it this way, which is
Yeah.
really good. So
If I could,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
if I could add something to what Phoebe said, during the contribution phase, it's very important you take note of where your mentor's time zone. A lot of them live hours away before us or after us. For instance, my mentor lives 6 hours before me. So normally when I'm awake, she's sleeping. And then you ask questions and you don't get answer till like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I think
Mm,
she's ignored. She's not. That's when she's just waking up. That's the morning hours. So we should I'm imploring people that will be applying for this cohort, try and take notice of the location where your mentor stays and
mm,
try to plan ahead. Don't be anxious, don't bombard her with questions. Be very in a way, I'm not asking you to stalk your mentors, but get an idea of when they come online.
yeah.
So when you ask questions, you get answers. And also there will be a case of people asking questions, the same question over and over and over again. If you can
Mm,
be able to pinpoint a particular question that is always asked, and whenever your co-contributors ask these questions and you provide an answer to these questions, in a way, it helps you stand out because you are reducing the tax, the mentor's tax. The mentor
mm,
knows that whenever this question is asked, I have someone to answer this question. And somehow you imprint your name in their hearts. So that's all I
yeah.
have to add.
That's
Yeah.
really great. So a lot of
Sorry, can I just add like a final thing, because the
go
contribution
for
stage
it.
is really, 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 really important.
Okay.
Intense. Yeah.
Please, please, please be polite and be respectful.
True.
It is,
True.
you do not want to be that person in like the Slack channel or the Discord channel that is rude to the mentors. There are a
Snacky.
ton of
Yeah.
people contributing and a ton of people asking for their time.
Yeah.
You know, being, like they, like Anita said, they might not be in the same time zone with you. None of my mentors were in the same time zone as I had mentors in different time zones, three different
Yeah.
time zones.
Yeah.
It's important that you are respectful. Wait for
Very.
an answer. If you don't get an answer, you can say, "Hey, just a quick reminder that you haven't
Mm-hmm.
like answered my question." But please don't bombard them with questions. Don't be rude to them. Don't
Yeah.
be don't come off as entitled when
Mm,
you don't get an answer
True.
immediately.
Yeah.
Another thing also is another like really helpful thing is attend their community calls. A lot
Yeah.
of insightful information can be like found out in their community calls. Open source projects usually hold community calls usually every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, where they talk about
Yeah.
the project, their project roadmap, their what they want to do, that sort of thing. In those
Mm-hmm.
meetings, you typically have most of the maintainers there, and it's a live call. You can ask
mm,
questions. They encourage you to
Yeah.
join. So in that meeting, most of the people that you're sort of like chasing on like the text-based channels are
Yeah.
available there. You can ask questions there. So try as much as you can to attend the community calls.
Yeah.
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 Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. So let's get to the place people are getting interested in. So after
Yeah.
the contribution stage, what
Yeah.
next?
The
Okay.
final proposal,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah,
submit your
yeah.
final
After
proposal.
yeah, when you after the proposal is submitted
Yeah.
now. So yeah, what
Yeah.
next? Yeah.
You
Yeah,
wait.
so after the proposal, after you submit your proposal, then
Yeah.
you wait, and then if you are selected, you get an email.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's where you can start to
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So I think the most important thing here is that I look at it like either I'm selected for my proposal or not. I've actually learned a lot of things.
You
Yes.
have.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
because let's look at the process and everything. Like you will have met so many people, you will have learned so many things. But the thing is that at each of this stage, when you drop off or you're not being
Yeah.
selected, can you still reapply?
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay, okay, very, very
Yes.
good. Right. So to the interesting thing, I like people who are like, please, can you elaborate on the payment stage? I like
Ah.
that. Like I
Wow.
like that. Yeah. So the concept here is that after the proposal is accepted, and then you get some basic image, and then you can start to build stuff. So what is
Yeah.
the process like for that 3 months? How does it work?
So for the 3 months you'll be interning, before the internship phase, you already have an idea of what you'll be doing during your internship, because it will be in the what's it called, website of what is expected of you, which is what you will use to create. Remember the plan we said for the 13 weeks, which is what
Yeah.
you use to guide you in planning what you'll be doing for the next 13 weeks. So that's what you'll be doing for the whole 3 months. You will not be required to do anything new. You
Okay.
already have an idea of what you'll be doing for the next 3 months. So yeah.
All right. So in terms of like I know like there's a stipend that is being given to interns.
Yeah.
So how does that work? They like pay you every month or something? How does it work?
You get check-ins with your mentors. Your
Yeah.
mentor has to check in that you have done the work that you have said you were going to do for that month, and then you get
Yeah.
paid. At the end of the month, basically at the time that is stipulated. It's a 7,000 US dollars internship for 3 months,
Yeah.
and you get paid for every month of work that you do. But you have to do the work that you said you're going to do.
Yeah.
You won't be
Yeah.
paid if you are not doing the work that you said
The
you were going to
work.
For
do.
Yeah.
everybody on the live
Yeah.
stream,
Yeah.
I know we are interested about money. Money is great, actually, it's a good
Yeah.
motivation. At the same time,
Yeah.
also the knowledge also is great, but
Yeah.
we should all know that you have to put in the work. You
Yeah.
understand? So there's no free
Yeah.
money. I know a lot of the organizations also get money to be able to. Uh, like I wish also we could have like Tech Leap get sponsored and we can pay interns to do work. So
Yeah.
well, I love what Outreachy is doing, definitely. So I don't mind like bringing more people to the program and talking about it. Like if you see a program that is doing great, instead of like
Yeah.
just yeah, just be part of that,
Share it
and
with
that's
people.
exactly
Yeah.
yeah. So what we're
Yeah.
doing. So yeah, so contribute,
So
contribute.
somebody has
Phoebe.
a
Yeah.
question.
You wanted to say something?
No, I think somebody put 87K. No, 7,000, not 87.
Okay, okay, please let's. It's not.
Seven. Seven.
It's
My God.
7K, please.
Yeah.
7K, 7K.
7,000 USD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7K USD. Yeah. So I think that is by the way. So uh Phoebe, I know you have completed your own 3 months.
Yeah.
So post 3 months, what was the experience like for you?
Yeah.
After the initial 3 months, there was the sigh of relief. That
Yeah.
it's like I did something. I completed my internship, and then I I stayed with my community, like my open source community, and I contributed even after the 3 months because I
Wow.
already had an idea of what like the work was and what um the basically like I knew my way around the ecosystem of the work. I
Yeah.
continued doing writing technical documentation, and it was how I was able to connect to write the docs. Write the docs is a technical writing community,
Wow.
um, and get a couple of gigs here and there for technical writing. I actually currently I from there I got a job like in software, and I've continued to do that. I recently just even left a job
Oh, nice.
like a couple weeks ago because I'm taking some
A break.
time.
Yeah.
Vacation.
It's not
Woo!
really like a vacation. I'm getting my cloud certifications.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So like I'm taking the time to get
Study. Yeah.
certifications, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sort of like level up also. But like just the connections that I've gotten, like I made it to the final stage for um my application at Canonical. Canonical is the company behind Ubuntu. And one
Yeah.
of the main reasons that I made it to the final stage was just because of my open source experience. It's a company based on uh I mean Ubuntu is based on Linux. Linux
Open
is
source. Yeah.
basically the open source like
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I made it to the final stage was because of my open source experience. I was able to
Yeah.
talk about what I've done aside from being a contributor, but also being a maintainer, being a person who cares about the work outside of, because some of these communities that you will join are doing really really awesome things, like really
Yeah.
really really awesome things. Some of
Yeah.
them are providing ways for for them to track data in locations where people typically won't reach, healthcare professionals can't reach, so they don't really have access to specific data that would most likely save their lives. Some
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the communities, they are working in climate change. Some of the communities are working in tech change. So a lot of
Mhm.
the work that these communities are doing, once you get plugged in, you realize how amazing it is. And it
Yeah.
also drives the level of innovation that you sort of you can bring to your own life, and you can bring to your own personal, like your own little community around you. Once you
Yeah.
Yeah.
interact with these people, you are able to learn so much and grow. And open source is a great way to showcase yourself, in terms of jobs,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
interviews, talk about your open source experience, talk about the work that you did, talk about your mentoring experience. Most people want to listen to the work that you've done, contributing to open source. It's a great way to grow in your career, I can
I
assure you.
tell
Yeah.
I tell people a lot, like, what kind of interview do you want? Do you want an interview where you be given algorithm questions, or you want an interview where you talk about things you've done,
You love.
contribution you've
Yeah.
made?
Things you've
And I
done.
think that
Yeah.
is because like a lot of juniors are like they're asking me for algorithm question because you don't have any other things to tell them. There's no way you could demonstrate what you've done, so they will give you algorithm questions, to. But if you
Also, you shouldn't run away from
yeah, that's the thing.
algorithms.
Like, I'm not saying that you should run away from algorithm.
Yes,
Like we all know that algorithm questions doesn't like translate to what you're going to be doing
yes,
on a daily
yes,
basis.
that's that,
Yeah.
yes.
So like there are organizations that cares about what you contribute, what you are building. You
Yes.
know,
Plus, you can see it. Like they can just go
yeah,
to
you
the
can see
PR
some of those
and
things.
look at the code
Yeah,
that you wrote.
yeah, because
It's like
Yeah.
you can showcase how great you are at writing commit messages. I know people who got jobs just because they write clear commit messages. They know how to do a git rebase, and you get that experience working in a remote team. Even
yeah,
remote work experience is a great tool to have, because how to work asynchronously with teams across the world,
Yeah.
how
yeah,
to
Good. Yeah.
schedule your work, how to be self-motivated. You don't need somebody to say, oh, you need to do this now. You know how to plan your work and plan yourself. These are essential skills that you can gain in these 3 months,
yeah,
that you
Yeah.
can talk about, that is incredibly important. Learning how to write great documentation that accompanies projects.
yeah,
Writing good commit messages is one of the things that you learn,
Yeah.
if you are doing a git based thing, so
yeah.
that commit messages that show what the commit is about,
Mhm.
if you have to write proper, the proper workflow for
Yeah,
git, building the project locally, pulling the project, ensuring that
you can work with other people and say,
yes, your branches are in the right place. You know how to properly do a rebase. You ensure that there's no
yeah,
conflict.
yeah.
It is an essential skill, and it's great that it's one that you would learn in this internship.
That's
Yeah.
very good. Thank you so much, Phoebe. Like, you made my evening, and I think this is going to be really, really valuable. Yeah, we
Yeah.
will
Definitely.
put this on Netflix after. Okay, so Anita, can you give us? Are you still in your 3 months now, Anita, or you completed?
Yes, I am. I'm still an intern. So yeah.
Okay, good. So let's have, how is it going?
Amazing. I have the best mentor ever. I mean, she's amazing. So she makes my work really easy. And this is my first time working with a team that's, diverse in terms of language, culture, and every other thing, age. And
Awesome.
I'm in no way made to feel like I'm less. Everybody wants to hear what I have to say, my own opinion, and all that. And I think that's an amazing thing about open source.
Mm,
Like it brings everybody together. You don't have to feel less than yourself. Everybody
mhm.
wants to know, even when you feel like you're going to say nonsense, definitely there'll be sense in that thing you want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm enjoying my internship.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
really like that's even from your smile, you're enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And send some ties over, in Nigerian. Yeah, I think that's really great. I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
both of you thriving, and I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
read more about both of you and amazing things. And
Thank
hopefully, in the
you.
future, we have some more conversations,
Sure.
and we'll be inviting you also. So,
Sure.
yeah, McDonald, definitely the recording will be available after. So, yeah, you can rewatch. I don't know on maybe LinkedIn rewatch, but I will definitely put it on my YouTube channel, and then we can share. And it will be available on Phoebe and all of your own channels also. So
Yeah.
it will be emailed to you
Can
so
I
you can
just
share.
quickly say something to sort of like encourage people?
All right,
Yeah.
go
All
for it.
right. I just want you to know that there's this thing about perfection, right? Where you think that, oh, like the work that I do is not good enough, or the ideas that I have is not good enough, or like,
Yeah.
my proposal is not good enough. But it's important to not let perfect be the enemy of good. That is like my watchword. Do
Mm,
Yeah.
not let perfect be the enemy of good. If good is what you have,
Yeah.
send in good. Good can then become perfect.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
That's how
mm.
you grow. Don't say that, like, I don't have the skills for this internship and then I won't
Yeah.
apply.
Mm.
Apply for the opportunities. Even if you
Yeah.
don't get it, you learn from the opportunities.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do not let imposter syndrome hold you back.
Mm,
Yeah.
Apply for opportunities. Like,
Yeah.
you can always improve. That's the thing. Like, life is constantly changing and you are constantly improving as long as you are doing something over and over again. Like, if you
Yeah.
write something and you write something the next day, you write it better than you did it the day before. So
Previous day. Yeah.
don't let that idea that, oh, like, or what, because when you first like get to the contribution phase, there's a lot of people, and in
yeah.
this
Yeah.
lot of people there are lots of people who, in terms of the way they speak, in terms of like, their
Yeah.
understanding about like technology, sometimes
Yeah.
it's really way ahead of like what you
True.
think is way ahead of what
Yeah.
But like, aside
Mm-hmm.
from like, the tech skills, there are also like soft skills too, communication, consistency,
Yeah.
things that they are looking out for. So
Mhm.
don't be intimidated, because there's that initial, I mean, we're like Nigerians. There's that initial like, oh my god, like people from countries where like,
Yeah.
they are known like for their tech skills, or they are known to be
Yeah.
like really great at what they do. Do
Yeah.
not let perfect be the enemy of good. Do not let
Good.
imposter syndrome hold you back.
Yeah.
All
Mm,
you have to
mm,
do is put your best foot forward and do the
Yeah.
work. That is it.
True.
mm.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, in addition to what Phoebe said, please go in there with the mindset of a winner. If you ever think what would make them choose you, ask yourself what will make them not choose you. Go in there
Hmm.
with a winner's mindset. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I have nothing to add. I'm not a mood. I can't motivate. So don't let me water it down with my bad
Yeah.
motivation. You guys have killed this, and I'm really happy. Mukhtar said 92% of the past interns were female. So the idea here is that everyone should apply. It's just that
Yeah.
they give opportunity for females also, because
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
be realistic. There's a lot of gap that still need to be filled. So we need
Yeah.
to enable more women in technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, more women to apply, but that doesn't mean that they're not taking uh
Men.
male, they are
Yeah.
taking men. So it's just that they give opportunities for women, which is something we should all encourage in all of our organizations, in our schools and stuff. I used to have a program called Girls Love Math. So to like inspire young girls to like, yeah, like I used to be like a very math genius in secondary school.
Yeah.
But so that is like a little brag. Okay. Yeah, so the idea is just to it's just to say that everyone is welcome. Everyone
Yeah.
is, so don't say because they are we don't it's just female. No, it's not just female. Everyone is
Yeah.
welcome. And there is a lot to learn even in that community, even if you're not selected. So I
Yeah.
want us to just shut it down in 1 minute. That is 8:30. So I don't want my voice to be the last one. So
Mm.
just 1 point. What advice just give to cap it up? Like 1 point from Anita first, and then Phoebe.
Oh, okay. One point is be resourceful, take initiative. I think that's it. Take initiative. If you know you can do something, do it. Don't wait to be asked. Do it. That way you have, in a way, you get your name placed in the mentor's heart, and they get to remember you first before other people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, for me
Yeah.
is read the documentation. A lot of
Yeah.
insights, a lot of questions
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
can be answered by reading the documentation. If you
Yeah.
fix something and you find that it's not in the documentation, offer
Yeah.
to like add it to the documentation.
Yeah.
So read the documentation, update the documentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for everyone that have joined
Thank
us on
you.
Facebook, on LinkedIn, and also those that are going to watch this on demand on Netflix. So thank you, guys, and
Yeah.
also don't forget to join the For My Also community. It's a new community we're building, so we are not as big as Outreachy, but we are just trying to do our own little things for the community
Yeah.
also, with the little time and little resources that I have. We also have a platform called Tech Clarity Coach. So it's a documentation platform really that documents different technology and careers in tech and what you
Yeah.
need to be able to do it. So, and if you feel like contributing, is everyone is welcome to
Welcome.
contribute. So
Yeah.
if you have an idea, something you can improve. So we just want to be able to like, because in the beginning when you want to start tech, people like, should I do data science? Should I do graphic design? Should I do UI? Should I do this one?
Yeah.
So we just like listed everything so you can read through what you need to do this, where you can work, some of the things, technology, programming language out there, and people can make their choice by comparing different stuff. So it's a community driven platform. Please contribute. Also, join us on Discord for conversation. So, which is really great. Thank you, everyone, for today. And I can't thank you enough, Anita. A very, very
Thank
short
you.
period of time that I reach out to you. And also, Phoebe, very, very short period of time I reach out to you. So, it just demonstrates the heart that both of you have for the community. And I really thank you. Thanks, everyone. So, people are asking for my also link. So I'm definitely going to share it so that at least we do marketing. So let's do
Yeah.
some marketing here. So I'll share this for my also LinkedIn, and then from LinkedIn, I think you could be able to get to other channels that we have. I'll just save you as members. So I'll post it in the comment here, and I can also post it in the comment later. So that you guys can see that. So thank you everyone, and bye bye.
Bye.